All right, we're recording. You guys there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Okay.
So, what specifically about the genre of superheroes in movies and TV did you want to talk about?
Well, I want to talk about how basically what once was in the past, when and also it's not just about superheroes, about the geek culture, how explosive it has become over the century.
You could thank The Big Bang Theory for that.
Ah, it's actually ironic because the Big Bang Theory is about stereotypical nerds and not representing nerds well, but everyone else.
Well, I mean, I think that's how nerds pretty much were like before that show. And because that show just popularized the culture so much and made people realize, hey, yeah, I kind of like a few nerdy things too.
Yeah.
Nerd culture expanded to multiple people.
It
Uh,
normalized being a nerd is basically what it did.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah, that and I think the MCU films.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I mean, because the MCU happened right around the time that Big Bang Theory took off. Because the first MCU movie, which was Iron Man, that came out in 2008. So I think that's right around the same time as Big Bang Theory, give or take a year.
Let's not forget that superheroes were popular in the past with Superman and
Right.
Batman,
right.
but no one wanted to read the comics. No one. So I think that really the reason why Guardians of the Galaxy worked was probably because of Big Bang Theory.
I mean, it worked because of the people involved with making it. The director was amazing in it. And they had a great story. They had fantastic actors. That's why it was successful. I mean,
I know
yes,
it
the
worked like that. I
popularity.
mean, it was popular. That's what I meant.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Is the reason why it was popular is because they hit on a lot of the a lot of the things that people liked in those movies. There was lots of reference to stuff from the '80s, so there was that, and then yeah, just in general, it was what people wanted to see, and
And
I
I'm
know
gonna say it. Sorry,
and there's a
but
lot.
I'm gonna say it. Sorry. Wait, who go? You go or I go?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna say it. The Guard. If the MCU is not the Star Wars of this generation, then I'm gonna say that the Guardians of the Galaxy is the Star Wars of this generation.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's
The
definitely
next
got the
best thing to Star
it's definitely the
Wars.
popularity. The funny thing is it's like Marvel took comic book characters that no one has, unless you're a hardcore comic book reader, nobody knew what the Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah,
was.
I very barely, if anything, had an idea who Iron Man was before I saw his movie, and I loved it. I've never read a single page of one of his comics. That proved that Marvel knew how to make movies that stand on their own, that you don't need to read a comic.
Right.
Yes, and here's the thing. I the first time I was introduced to the Guardians of the Galaxy was on Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and then I did not see them for another 2 years until they came on the big screen. So, but everyone like I heard back then in like 2014 when like people were like, "Nah, this is terrible. This is gonna suck. This is gonna be like the
Yeah,
worst
at
thing
first I
ever."
wasn't interested in Guardians, but then I just saw it because everyone else was, and it tied into Avengers 2, supposedly, but I don't remember how. And just to my point before, to drive it home, standing on your own means you don't need to read the comics to enjoy the movie, which is a requirement for every uh, movie adaptation of the source material.
Yeah.
You
But
shouldn't
here's the thing.
reading the source material should not be a requirement to enjoying the film. Is what I'm saying.
Yes. But here's the thing. One thing with Suicide Squad, which I picked up from a review, is that they basically let the people had to go read the comics in order to understand who these characters were, like why should we be invested with them, and
No,
yeah, and
they were explained fairly well.
are
I have to
you sure?
rewatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they were explained pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but to me, that's what I just picked up. I just picked up from maybe I was just
Well,
too much
fun.
brainwashed by a critic. I was like biased into a critic and listened to whatever he said, like he was the gospel or something. But now I'm pretty much over that.
Yeah, I will defend Suicide Squad with my life. I loved it when I first saw it.
It was really good. Yeah. I enjoyed it. Even
I enjoyed
even
it.
the goofy bits were funny. So
But what do you think about the Joker in that movie?
It was okay. It was fine. He's not the best, but he's definitely not the worst.
But then what about Joker?
I don't know about that.
Right.
I don't think he's the worst as far as DC's Joker goes. I think Juggalo Joker, as I call that one, is probably my least favorite. I don't think any other version of the Joker is worse than that, to be honest. In fact, the standalone Joker movie, I think, is better than that Joker.
You mean Jared Leto?
Yeah, I'm talking about the Joaquin Phoenix versus the Jared Leto. I think Joaquin Phoenix's Joker was better than Jared Leto's.
Yes. I mean, there's no question that Joaquin's killed it. But I mean, for what it was worth, I thought he was fine. I didn't hate him. He's not better than Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix.
No.
But I didn't mind him.
I don't know. It was just like, okay, they're trying to appeal to a different audience. I think with that Joker, it was with
Even in the movie that much. So
it's he legit looked like a YouTube rapper. I mean, he had the face tattoos. He had like the random tattoos that don't seem to make any sense. He kind of had the attitude right. I think he got that right. I didn't care for the slicked back hair or the
I thought that looked cool. But
I'm also older, so my idea of the Joker is still going to be like, Mark Hamill or Jack Nicholson.
But now let's get to the Snyder Cut. Have you seen the Snyder Cut, Todd?
Loved it. Watched it multiple
Yeah.
times.
You saw it multiple times, a 4-hour movie multiple times?
Yeah, because there's a lot to see in that movie, man. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything.
I know. But here's the thing. Yeah, what real problems people had with Jared Leto's Joker, a lot of people really liked him in what the little bit he had in the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, he was okay in the Snyder Cut. He was there for a reason, and that was, to kind of show the future and whatnot, and it was okay. It wasn't like, oh my god, this is the most amazing thing ever. I still think his Joker I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Ledger's Joker because to me that was never really the Joker. It was a Joker-like character.
No, to me that was. Are you kidding? He redefined what the Joker meant. Ledger.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he was. I
Joker
saw him.
was never like used like this. He was never like really seriously mental before The Dark Knight.
Whatever, dude. Seriously, the Joker has always been a complete and total mental case.
Maybe in the comics, but you never saw that kind of Joker on the big screen.
But here's the thing. Joker is a genius and he's insane. He's an insane genius.
Yeah. Jack Nicholson did that pretty well. And that Joker was a homicidal maniac as well. Killed hundreds of people.
But
I watched that movie when I was a kid. Like, as a kid, I would not be able to watch The Dark Knight. It would have scared me.
I saw a little bit of Dark Knight when I was 8. I saw it when I was 6. And also, my friend, he kept trying to show me Two-Face, which I did not want to see. I did not want to see that Two-Face. I refused to see Two-Face, what he looked like. And this guy, my friend, kept trying to show a Two-Face figurine in front of me, and I was like, no, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, it's a guy with half a face missing. So yeah, it's kind of terrifying when you're that age.
And I have one question. Have you guys read Final Crisis?
No.
I don't know what it is. No.
Well, I think that maybe they should adapt that. If the DCEU is still going to continue, they should adapt that in the future.
I'd like to see that.
Because I think that, but except, I think they're both adapting Injustice and Final Crisis. Because in Final Crisis is where Darkseid wins. Or either I'm reading in it, either this cosmic being called Mandrake or either Darkseid. Or maybe Mandrake and Darkseid are the same person. Because I really, it really gets carried away with it goes into something else that has nothing to do with Darkseid. Hopefully it gets back to where Darkseid and
I think if I was to pick a DC comic book that I want to see made into a movie, it would be Batman versus Predator.
That's a real comic?
It is. It's an awesome comic book too. The Predator comes to Gotham looking for, the top of the line human, specimens, and he takes out some football players, and then Batman comes in to save somebody, and then he turns his attention onto Batman. It's a great comic. Came out in early 90s, and they've actually had two other reiterations of that story where the aliens or the predators came back. So
I have one thing to say. Now let's move from Marvel to DC. What do you think about the other superheroes like The Boys or Invincible?
Invincible was great.
Further, Brooks, can we please not talk about Star Wars or the Disney trilogy?
We're not talking about that. We're just sticking to superheroes.
What? Alright, I've had enough of that. What was the question again?
Invincible and The Boys.
Okay, well, you have to watch The Boys first of all, because if you like Invincible, you will love The Boys.
Yeah.
I think that's I love it. It's taken the genre in a new direction.
It takes typical comic book tropes and puts them on their head. Yeah.
Real world scenarios, real life scenarios. Evil capitalism and corporations ruling holding power over superheroes.
What happens if the Flash runs into somebody?
I have one thing to say. This does have something to do with superheroes, but in My Hero Academia, actually, they say that that's a good thing that governments control their superheroes, but not exactly a bad thing. But they do have really harsh government laws, because if you go to jail in My Hero Academia, they literally keep you in jail and have a camera with a gun pointed to your head.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. But
so in any petty offense, it's from the extreme to petty.
That's authoritarianism for you.
So I think that, but here's the thing, but the My Hero Academia doesn't cover that as a bad thing, so that might be a flaw. So, but I mean, it's for the audience to see that's a bad thing, but it's not really the characters that see that as a bad thing.
Right, yeah.
But there is this the spin-off called Vigilantes, where they do try to get away from the government, and they try to, go back to the original superheroes that had secret identities, and they literally try and get people to trust them, but they're not going to instantly trust them because they're masked people that they don't even know.
Right. Another good one, if you guys liked The Boys or Invincible, was there's a series on Netflix called Jupiter's Legacy, which was really good.
Yeah, Jupiter's Legacy. To be honest, I'm starting to see Invincible, but I will see the boys, and I might see Jupiter's Legacy. But I just wanted you to talk about them to see, guys, what you think of them.
I liked all of them. Of the three, I think the one
I
that's the
love
most
boys.
violent. All right, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. I totally cut you off. Go ahead. Sorry.
Finish your thought. I've already forgot what I was saying.
Really?
Yes, really.
All right.
Wait, I remember. It was because you're saying the third of them is most violent.
Yeah. So, uh, Jesus, the cartoon. That one's the most violent of the three. Um, and
Invincible.
Invincible is the most violent of the three. Just the amount of blood and guts that's in that is insane. The other ones aren't nearly as. I mean, they are violent. Don't get me wrong. There's some horrible shit that happens to the boys. That if you're not into violence, it's probably not a show you want to watch. But or if you're easily affected by violence, you might not want to watch it. But yeah, no, the Jupiter's Legacy is actually really really well done. I was bummed that it essentially that storyline is ending on season 1. They're doing a different storyline in season 2
Of Invincible.
of Jupiter's Legacy.
Ah. And also, I feel like with Invincible, I feel like that we're coming into an age where there's going to be like more adult animation, which I am all for.
There's always been adult animation.
I meant not just adult anime, like that actually has good stories to them, not like that are just here to make you laugh.
Oh right, the whole like adult animation that's not stupid humor. Okay, yeah.
And actually, I made a video about I'm sick of adult
I
TV
saw that.
comics.
I saw that. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and I'm glad that times are changing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more people who like animation, so
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's very good. So, let's talk about the future of the MCU. Who's optimistic and who's pessimistic?
I'm mixed.
I'm leaning towards pessimistic, but I'm also a little optimistic, a little, but not more pessimistic.
I don't see anything bad happening with the MCU. I think the MCU is going great. I mean, they've already killed off 2 main characters, and they're introducing new characters in the next movie, I think, and I don't see it going away anytime soon.
Yeah, but you know what? Vision once said something that's beautiful doesn't last forever. It's something that comes to an end.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm optimistic because I think it's being helmed by good people and good directors. What makes me pessimistic is that Disney kind of getting a little too greedy and just making it more. They're of Disney messing it up and just making it like compromising it for the fans while they have to because they have to appeal to a larger audience. I mean, it might be because I'm just getting older, and but it seems like the Disney and the MCU, they don't really want to like take risks or anything. They don't want to like be daring or bold with their movies.
Remember when they first took a risk with Iron Man? You remember like the most risk they ever took? The most ballsiest risk they ever took at the end of Iron Man was when Tony Stark said to the world that he's Iron Man. I mean, the Fantastic Four already like had no secret identities, but that was a joke. This is a real superhero actually revealing to the world that he is a superhero. And no superhero who's actually an authentic superhero would ever do that in the past.
Well, I
Remember
mean,
in the when they said every superhero has a secret identity?
Yeah, I
Iron
know.
Man.
Yeah, that was ballsy. But I feel like nowadays, especially Disney with their movies, I don't know. They don't do anything like really bold. Like, and I don't know what I would want them to do that would be considered bold, but just,
well, I
I mean,
mean,
I guess,
I feel the same. I feel the same.
I think
yeah,
I think if when they get around to the next Deadpool, as long as that movie is rated R, that will probably
it's
squash
going to be
that.
rated R and part of the MCU.
Yeah, Disney's rated R movie. I
Yeah,
mean, and guess what? On Disney Plus, they did not censor the X-Men Days of Future Past. Their one F-bomb. They did not censor that. If you go on Disney Plus
Well,
and you watch X-Men Days of Future Past and say Charles when he says "fuck off," it was not censored at all.
big deal. You can get away with that.
Yeah, that's one word. Yeah, that's relatively normal for like a PG-13 movie.
Oh, and here's one thing. Remember in Iron Man 3 where there was like a corpse hanging on those wires, on those TV antenna wires?
Vaguely.
No,
Well, guess what? It was on Disney Plus too, and that is brutal.
yeah, but again, that's just one scene out of an entire movie.
Right.
Yeah. Look, if if they plan on being as big as they do, with owning the 20th Century Fox, they're gonna need to branch out.
It's little steps. I'm just saying it's the little steps. It's little steps.
Yeah, but like,
I'm not expecting them to be ballsy. I'm just saying that they're kind of compromising their family-friendly attitude.
yeah, see, they're gonna need to do that if they want to be as big as they are.
Well, that's what they need to do. Yes, I agree. And
Yeah, they're gonna have to have a minority in there, like a minority of fans like that they really that they cater to with that R rating, mature section.
yeah, and imagine a Disney film where there's a sex scene.
I don't think that will ever happen.
I mean, that would be a giant leap forward.
Yeah, Disney will never do that.
And actually, I have one thing to say. Walt Disney always wanted.
It did.
Walt
It was-
Disney in the 60s wanted to make, powerhouse dramas, but he was stuck in the family-friendly thing that he trapped himself in.
Well, that's why Disney has like Miramax and other companies where they can do those types of movies.
Yeah, and Disney was once owned Pulp Fiction. They once owned Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, that was before it was released. Yeah.
Yeah, nowadays they wouldn't touch that.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, they did say that the X-Men and Deadpool and the Fantastic Four are all going to be brought into the MCU in this next phase.
But
Yeah,
you know what? What about we're never gonna see Captain America and Wolverine together, or maybe unless they're in a flashback or something. But
yeah.
we're never gonna see.
We will.
We're never
It
gonna see-
just won't be. It won't be Steve Rogers Captain America.
But we're never gonna see Tony Stark with Reed Richards. These guys loved each other. It's kind of like how Bruce and Tony were in the.
There's nothing really you can do about that. The movies were made separate times, and planning would have been hectic and out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those characters have been. Well, and just because the movies and the characters were killed off in the movies doesn't mean they won't come back for like flashback sequences.
Yeah, they could probably do that.
But
And I really want my old movie to be rated R.
And they also have already established time travel exists in the MCU, so that will always be an option to see people again, is to do some time travel.
I mean, as long as the actors want to come back, then yeah.
Oh,
here's the thing.
if you give them enough money, they will.
Here's the thing. I once saw an alternative version of when Nick Fury went to Tony Stark's house, and he was talking about Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men. That imagine an alternate timeline where we had them in the MCU the last decade.
Yeah, well, they might do that. They might in the next couple of phases. They may have some more time travel, and they implement those characters, and they have somebody else playing the parts of, if somebody doesn't want to come back, if Chris Evans or RDJ don't want to come back, they can have somebody else play those parts.
So,
Yeah, they
we're
really
gonna
want to.
retcon all that?
Not
depends.
retcon it, but
I mean-
they would just have somebody else playing the part.
Yeah, the fans would be pretty pissed because let's face it. But I mean,
I don't know. How mad were people when when Rhodey was changed? Nobody. I don't remember anybody bitching about that.
That was Rhodey. This is talking about Tony Stark with Robert Downey Jr., who's synonymous with the character, and Chris Evans with
War Machine's pretty integral in this storyline, man. You can't have Rhodey. You can't have Iron Man without Rhodey. So the fact that they changed one character means they can change any of the characters out. Anybody.
Yeah. Okay. Yes and no. I mean, they can do it, but they'll just have to. They'll get some backlash.
And you know what? And you know what? Disney will be like, "Yeah, we did it. So what? Get over it."
Yeah, and their company. It's ultimately their call.
Yeah.
But there is backlash. I mean, I don't think people are gonna not go see the movie just because of that. I mean,
and I wonder if they're gonna CGI Stan Lee cameos.
I mean, just how people can be pretty stupid. With what they go see. I mean, maybe they'll lose a handful of fans, but nothing too significant.
I mean,
if they reach
a
major or better.
I don't want to repeat anything, but what if they CGI Stan Lee for cameos?
I don't see them doing that. I don't see them doing that because number one, they would have to get permission from his estate. Number one.
They did that from Carrie Fisher.
They also got permission from Carrie Fisher's estate.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it was one scene in one movie.
Okay.
Yeah, so didn't Carrie Fisher didn't she already film some of the scenes from episode 9?
No. She wasn't she wasn't alive for episode 9. They used scenes that weren't used in the first two movies. No, she died before the second movie was released.
Oh.
So she wasn't at all in the third movie.
No, she died when Rogue One came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
you're right. So it was after the second movie, and but she died before they were able to finish the third one. So they may have had one or two scenes, but overall, I think a lot of the scenes that were used in that movie were cut scenes from the first two.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now let's move on to DC. So I heard the new Gods movies isn't happening.
Isn't happening? Really?
It isn't. No. And it's from the Snyderverse, and they're starting to get rid of the
anything from the Snyderverse is basically been is no more because that was the Snyder Cut is the last of the DC Snyder movies.
And you know what? You know what? People, it's kind of like when Jane Jonah Jameson was like, basically the fan base is like Jane Jonah Jameson. They're like, Zack Snyder's a menace. And then when the Snyder Cut came around, he was a hero, and we couldn't see it.
Yeah, it was like JJJ when Spider-Man quit. Like, oh, Spider-Man, I used to love him. I really miss him. I'm sad he's gone. When he got his suit stolen, he was like, "Oh, I hate him. I hate him again." Just like that.
Imagine if that happened with Zack.
I know. He's such a pushover.
You know what happened with Zack Snyder, don't you?
He's not funny. He's not funny. Yeah, his daughter died.
Yeah. So and
Yeah.
the studio basically forced him to quit doing the movie and replaced him with Joss Whedon. They didn't like what he was
Yeah,
doing. They
and
didn't like what he was
Joss
doing with the movie, so they wanted to get rid of him. So they saw that opportunity and
Joss
took it.
Whedon was Joss Whedon was sorry, but you can continue.
You guys, hold on. I have to use the bathroom. Okay, I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay, should we just wait for him?
No. Go ahead. Talk.
Yeah.
Here's Joss Whedon. I remember when I was 10 and I saw the first Avengers movie and it blew my mind. I thought Joss Whedon could do no wrong, and so did everyone else.
Yeah.
And now Joss Whedon has been.
That was actually the first thing Joss Whedon has done since like 1985, I think, that I actually enjoyed. I
Wait,
was
what about
huh?
What about Firefly?
Hated it.
Did Joss Firefly?
He did, and I thought it was stupid.
Oh.
And I wasn't a fan of the Buffy TV show. I liked the Buffy movie, but I didn't like the Buffy TV show. But yeah. So when it was announced that he was doing the Avengers movies, like I had no hope for that movie being any good. So when it came out and I reluctantly watched it in theaters, like, oh wow, this is great. Holy shit. Where the hell has this been? Everything else he's done has been kind of mediocre at best. I didn't care for the other things he did. I was like, okay, I know a lot of people love those things, and I'm one of the very few that don't like those things. Never liked those things, and people always look at me like I have like an arm coming out of my forehead when I tell them I didn't like Firefly. And I legitimately tried watching Firefly 5 times before I was able to finish watching the series. Each time I started watching it, I get about 4 episodes in and I'd pass out. I'd fall asleep. Every time.
Are you glad they canceled it?
I didn't think it was that good to begin with, so I was not at all surprised it got canceled.
No, were glad when it got canceled?
I honestly didn't care. It didn't bother me. It didn't affect me at all. I just like, okay, well, yeah, that show sucked. I'm not surprised it got canceled. I didn't care.
Were you happy when it got canceled?
Again, I'm going to, dude, I said I didn't care. So that means I don't give a fuck. Meaning
Okay, I'm sorry.
I wasn't happy. I wasn't sad. I just didn't care.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so what do you think about the 1976 or 1977 Christopher Reeve Superman movie?
The
Or was
original
it 1978?
78.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters. Yeah, I loved that movie. That was
Well,
that was my introduction to Superman.
I know. That was your introduction to Superman. Well, I have an unpopular opinion. I don't like it.
Yeah, you were born 2 decades later, so yeah, I can't imagine you like.
Because of that. Yeah, it's because of the Superman that was put in. I thought that basically what he did, he just went around the world and basically could have killed everyone in order to save Lois.
Oh, when he spun the world backwards.
Yes.
Yeah, you're thinking too hard about a comic book movie, dude.
Well, dude, comic book movies have evolved,
Yes, they have, but in the 70s they were seen as goofy movies. Nobody gave 2 craps about them. It was like, oh, this is a comic book movie. No one's gonna see this, and that's how people were back then. So when he did things like spin the world a different direction to turn back time, which in itself is a dumb concept.
It actually happened, can it?
No, it's just like you can't spin the wheels backwards on a car and expect the little miles thing to go backwards on a car. It just doesn't work that way.
But if he could, then you would kill everyone. Everyone would fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and if you're really gonna go real world physics with a superhero movie, when he goes to catch Lois when she falls off the building, she would have split into 3 pieces and would have died.
Mm-hmm.
and he catches her like this. He's got his hands out, and she would have split into 3 pieces when she hit his arms.
Yeah, because isn't his skin like super hard?
Yeah.
You can't pierce his skin with anything, bullets, needles, whatever. So yeah, it's basically like catching someone with a forklift.
So what do you think of when Batman Forever, Batman Robin came out?
I like those movies for what they were.
I enjoyed them as a kid. That's about it.
I mean,
I did enjoy them as a kid too. I watched them when I was a kid too. But when I was in high school, I found it sucked. And then I asked my friend that we both watched Batman Robin. It sucks, right? And he said, no, we didn't. We didn't. He was in denial of it.
He's not in denial if he actually likes it. I mean, if he actually likes it, he likes it.
I didn't know if he liked it.
I enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't great, but I enjoyed it. I mean, I definitely liked the first 2 Batman movies that Tim Burton did better.
Because I didn't know he liked it because I thought that he hated it too, but he was just I think I misunderstood that. I maybe because I was basically like if everyone hated it, then it must be bad. But now I've grown from that and I've got my own thoughts and opinions and I mature.
It's been widely panned as like the one with George what's his name? Clooney. George Clooney. The one with George Clooney that has been panned as like the worst Batman movie ever. And
I thought George Clooney was a great Bruce Wayne.
I thought they were. I mean, the only thing that I didn't care for was like all the bright colors and like the gratuitous cod shots. I could have done without, and the bat nipples. I could have done without those. But overall, I mean, it very much invoked the 66 Batman series, which was okay, but it was like a 180-degree difference from the first 2 movies that Burton did, and which were dark and gothic and spooky, and they added purples and pinks and greens and yellows and just made things bright and like, okay, this is going from this really great movie to like kind of a goofy like tribute to Adam West and his series.
I thought that Uma Thurman was good as Poison Ivy. If this was a better movie, I think that she would be good.
She scared me as a kid. My mom always used to freak me out and say, "How about a little kiss?"
I was horrified when that guy was like, "Time for you to die." I was horrified when that happened.
Yeah.
One thing. Yeah. There was a plot hole. How Mr. Freeze just wanted to freeze the world to sell something. I think where he could have just
he wanted to save his wife.
Yeah,
he stopped in the Batman animated series.
He could have froze the world, but that would have conflicted with Poison Ivy's goal. Right?
Yeah, they talk about it in the movie too.
Oh, yeah, and Mr. Freeze could have just sold the diamonds instead of using them as a weapon.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have been entertaining.
Exactly. Yeah. See, plot hole. It's.
Yeah.
It's a plot hole.
You know what? As far as plot holes in comic book movies that are genuinely like aimed towards adolescents, people aren't looking for those types of things in comic book movies. At least back in the 90s and in the 80s and the 70s, people just didn't. They didn't care, so they were just doing a story.
What do you think of the Batman animated series?
Love it. Great show. Best thing.
I love it too.
The best thing that they ever did.
Okay, what would you rather choose at that time? Kevin Conroy and Michael Keaton.
Oh, dude, Kevin Conroy
Maybe.
every time.
Yeah, maybe Kevin Conroy, the animated voice.
Yeah.
There's a documentary on the internet called "I Know That Voice," and in the documentary, Kevin talks about how he was living in New York during 2001 in September, and how he was helping feed the first responders. And he was talking. He was telling the story how he was talking to somebody and he says, "So, what do you do?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm a voice actor." He's like, "I knew it. I knew I recognized your voice. You're that Kevin Conroy." And he goes, "Hey guys, you'll never guess who's feeding you. We've got Batman here." He's like, and then he goes, about a minute later, he goes, someone says, "Bullshit. Prove it." And he goes, "I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman." And someone goes, "Holy shit, it really is Batman." I don't do it any justice, but that's essentially what he tells in this story. And I actually had the opportunity to meet Kevin Conroy, but I chose to meet somebody else instead.
Who else?
It was standing in line to meet the voice of Wacko.
Oh, wow.
Wacko Warner, the
And
Animaniacs.
actually,
Oh. Oh, right.
so with
Wow.
Batman the animated series, I known about it for 6 years
It's a great
or
show.
no, 4 years.
Oh wow.
So what have you heard that that Batman has a son in the animated series in the AU?
Yeah, Damien.
Yeah, not in the animated
No,
series.
that's a different one.
He never had a son in the animated series.
Not in the anime series, but in Justice League, it was actually revealed that in Batman Beyond.
Oh right, yeah. Okay, technically speaking, he's offspring, but he's not really his son. He was DNA that was used from Bruce Wayne to create Terry McGinnis. So that's who you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, he just recently found out about that. Relatively recently.
That was actually I think that was the last few episodes of the series. So yeah, they actually no, that was in Justice League. Justice League. I want to say that was in Justice League Unlimited. I think was that's the storyline.
Yes, and I think that was the finale. Basically, the finale to both the Batman the Animated Series and to Batman Beyond.
Yeah. I mean, it was the season finale for Justice League Unlimited. They're all in the same universe, mind you. All those shows are all it's the same production, the same group of people working on it, the same cast of people.
Yes, I know. I know. Bruce Timm,
and Paul Dini, or the creators. A lot of the those guys are the ones who created Harley Quinn. Her first appearance was on the Batman animated series, and the woman who voiced her, Arlene Sorkin, was the inspiration for the character.
What?
Yeah. Arlene Sorkin at the time was on a soap opera, and in an episode of that soap opera, she was wearing a Harley Quinn costume, like a jester costume, and she was doing this kind of character.
Yeah.
It was like a dream sequence. Well, Paul Dini saw that and started writing out this character, which was originally just going to be like another one of Joker's henchmen, but was a girl. But then he decided to take
that was Harley Quinn.
Well, not initially. It became Harley Quinn. Yeah. Yeah, there's a great interview with Arlene Sorkin and Paul Dini on YouTube where they ask them about the creation of the character. And Paul's like, "Yeah, well, I saw Arlene on this soap opera and I saw that character and I was like, that would be great for a lead henchman for the Joker." And then eventually she kind of evolved into the Joker's girlfriend. It wasn't initially designed to
Well,
be.
abusive girlfriend. Abusive.
She wasn't abusive. He was abusive.
No, I mean that's what I meant. Abusive to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't really care about her.
Yeah. She was just a tool for him.
Yeah.
But in the Suicide Squad movie, it was a real romance.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why.
It really is. It wasn't much different. I mean, there was a toxic relationship all the way around, no matter what version you're looking at. It's the Joker says he loves her. He probably does it to some level, but overall, he doesn't give two shits about her.
Yeah, that's another reason why I love Suicide Squad Harley more than Joker Harley. Suicide Squad Harley is her own person, whereas Joker Harley is just obsessed with whatever the Joker is doing.
Mr. J.
Wait, Harley was in the Joker?
Yeah, she'll constantly kiss Joker's ass.
Yep.
Whereas in Suicide Squad, she can take charge of the situation and really come into her own and get along and get great chemistry with the others, the
Yeah.
other members.
What about the Harley Quinn show? What do you guys think of that?
Love it.
I never saw it, but I'm sure it's amazing.
It's
I've never seen it either.
It's really good. It is definitely not for kids. Kaylee Cuoco, who was Penny on Big Bang Theory, is the voice of Harley Quinn.
Shit.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
And it's really good. My favorite character in the whole show is King Shark, and that's played by Ron Funches, and it's such a great voice for that character.
No way! I love Ron Funches. I saw him do stand up live. I cracked up.
Yeah, he plays King Shark in this, and he's just in all the other versions of King Shark that I've seen, he's always been kind of mono, one word sentences kind of thing, food, that kind of thing. But no, in this he's very articulated. He has some goofy thoughts, but he's very articulated.
Oh God, Ron Funches. That
So
guy's
funny.
Ryan.
And then Alan Tudyk actually plays the Joker on that series.
Who?
Alan Tudyk. He's probably best known for playing Wash on Firefly, the pilot.
Wouldn't see that show.
Have you seen the show Resident Alien on Sci-Fi Channel?
No, but I think I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah, that
Hey,
guy.
guys.
Dirty blonde hair, short.
Yeah.
Him? Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
guys.
I saw him in Dollhouse.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, back in the day.
Guys,
Yes.
can we end this in 5 minutes?
Sure, we can end this in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's our last thing we want to talk about?
Do you guys think hard physical media is going anywhere? I don't.
I heard that Sweden is going to go full cashless.
What?
Sweden is no longer using cash. They're using credit.
No longer physical dollars and coins. That's weird.
Wow. Why would they do that?
Because it's more technologically advanced.
Probably because it's the easiest way to transmit diseases.
Wow.
Because the dirtiest thing in a restaurant is the money.
You could be careful. But anyway, okay.
As far as
I'm talking about hard copies of
like
movies,
physical media for like music and movies and whatnot. You know what? I haven't really bought a lot of physical media. I think the last thing I bought that was actually physical was because I couldn't find it anywhere else. Was the box set for Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh.
I got Wolf Children. That's the one physical media that I got, and it's because I couldn't buy anywhere on digital, and I'm getting physical of the Clone Wars, the entire show for December.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't think it's going anywhere, nor should it, because digital copies are not reliable. They could get lost in like a system failure, or just if they're just not reliable. And
Apple TV.
I have a large collection of digital content, whether it be videos or music, and all of it is on an external drive. So if that computer dies, it's not going to take out my movies and my music. It's all on a separate drive.
yeah, but what if that separate drive malfunctions?
Well, if that separate drive malfunctions, then I guess I'll lose all those movies, and I'll have to reacquire them.
Yeah, you'll have to rebuy them, right?
You would have to do that if you lost a DVD or a Blu-ray.
True. Yes, true. But I that would just be one movie versus an entire library.
Or if your house burnt down, then you would lose everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if that happens, then yeah, I would lose literally everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I'm completely fucked.
Okay, it's time for us to wrap up.
Time for
It's
what?
time for us to wrap up. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this. It's almost time to wrap up.
Okay. Hard copies should not go anywhere because people like holding them in their hands, and you don't have any buffering or streaming them. You don't need to stream it from an online service, and digital is not completely reliable. That's my closing argument.
Yeah. I mean, I have, like I said, a lot of my. Go ahead.
Okay, hope you guys like this video. Leave a comment if you did, and remember, peace out, guys. All right, you want to do your closing?
Yes. Yes. Whatever.
Well, then do your closing statements.
Go ahead.
Do you have any?
Oh, me? No, I don't have anything.
Yeah. Okay, well, see you guys later. Bye.
All right. Like, share, and subscribe.